This week we watched Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out story directed by Ryan Johnson.
I do think out of the three is probably the weakest entry so far in its franchise. But it still hits all the keynotes we enjoy. Of course, quirky characters, a lot of humor. Um, I love the fact that the person like usually the Knives Out tends to be like the first one where like all everybody's like a suspect, but the person we're usually led with the whole time is never the suspect. I thought they would break from that, but they didn't. And it's cool. It was okay. Like it reminded me a lot of the characters they had in church were some of the people that I have seen in in real life. Honestly, you got some ministers who are hungry for power. You got some church sisters who are a little too strict and inflexible and almost fanatical with their religious figures, so and I guess even Ryan Johnson admitted that he used like his upbringing as far as his issues with religion and the way organized religion into this kind of express his feelings. So I understand that a lot. Um the only person that kind of was like, why is she here was Amina Kulis as the sheriff. Like, I don't think Amina Kulis is a good actress in any capacity. So, hey, she wasn't there for a lot of it. But yeah, I still think, even though it's the weakest of the three, it was still a good movie.
In terms of this one, though, I found the subject matter of like talking about faith was really interesting. I didn't expect him to go there, but he did. And I think, especially now, like it makes a lot of sense to talk about faith and Christianity because it's a lot of people who have the decision-making power over most of our lives are very baked into this very religious Christian nationalism type of thing. So he didn't go there with it, but talking about faith anyways, I just thought was really interesting. And I really liked kind of the side he came down on in terms of like what his thoughts were about that whole thing. I thought that between Benoit and Father Jed, I feel like both of those characters really express like the two sides that you can maybe, I guess, engage with this on. And I like how he presented both of those. And I think that both of those are totally valid. So I actually liked the story of this a lot. I think the mystery of it was just a little too convoluted for me. I wasn't really into I mean, I know that that's like the excitement of these stories is like the twists and turns, and you think it's one person and then it ends up being another person. But I just felt like once we knew what had actually gone down, I was just like, this is so, this is so much. Like, this is just too much. And maybe I was thinking that because the movie kind of also pokes fun of that, pokes fun at the idea of like tricks and gadgets and gizmos and whatever. And that like, okay, let's just get to the simple part. But the actual story is very convoluted and complex, and a whole bunch of other stuff is going and body switching and resurrecting from the dead, whatever. Like it's just too like it is a lot. So I guess maybe it was just more in my head that like, yeah, this is they're doing a lot with this one. That being said, I thought that all the performances were so good. Like I didn't realize that Josh O'Connor was going to be like the main character of this movie, but he was, and I really liked it. I thought that Josh was just so good in this character. Like he's such an amazing actor anyways, but like he was so great in this, and he was able to kind of move from the dramatic to the comedy pretty effortlessly, and he was able to do that very well, and bring like a sensitivity to the role and just like an open-hearted kindness that seems to be his actual personality, like to the role, which I really enjoyed watching. And I enjoyed the whole cast. I think the only two people who I was like, was Mila Kunis, obviously, because like
Yeah.
she's not our best. She's not our best. But and also Jeremy Renner, he was just kind of there.
Yeah.
I think he might have just like recovered from that huge accident that he had. So I don't know, maybe that was the reason why his role might have been reduced because he was still like recovering from those injuries. But overall, he didn't really bring any texture to it, even though he plays like a huge role in the mystery of like what happens. He didn't bring as much texture into it that I would have preferred. But I felt like for Kerry Washington and Daryl McCormack, especially, like I haven't seen him in anything in so long. So like him popping up here, loved it and loved that for him. I hate the character he plays because the character sucks, but like him in that performance, he was great. Put him in more things, please. And then also Kaylee Spaney, who's just she is an incredible actress.
Hmm.
There is one scene where she's not even saying much, but like
Her
the
expression.
way her face changes, it's so subtle and it's I like, damn girl, you got it. Whatever it is, you got the juice. Like you're
Yeah.
so good. She's so good in this. Um, but Glenn Close, like Glenn, I love watching Glenn Close. She's just fabulous, like always. And Josh Brolin was great in this. So everyone, like the cast was like really good, which is one of the draws for these movies, is that you know you're gonna get like a stacked cast and that the cast is gonna give a great performance. And that's always fun to watch.
I think the person who's probably done the worst by this movie is probably Kerry Washington's character. I do think an actor of Kerry Washington levels could have did so much more.
Mm,
I feel like they could have casted somebody else if you're not gonna like with especially with the last two Knives Out, everybody had such powerful roles and almost got equal screen time with the characters. Whereas this, we spend most time with Josh. Like particularly the beginning of the movie is mostly done. He's a narrator for the project for the most part.
mm,
Um, you got like Kerry Washington, like her, I like her character of, her father's the buddy of the minister, and the boys gotta back up the boys, you know, and then so her father forces her to adopt the minister's illegitimate child. Her father forces her to adopt the boy, not adopting himself. So also like that story of her not having her agency is never really covered until she revolts and it reveals to everybody else. Those kind of stories I wish were given a little bit more time to show about. Especially we only hear a blurb about Jerry Manor's. He loves his wife and his wife leaves him, and that's it. Like there's no other details. And it goes, oh, he likes his wife left him. Now he drinks, and that's his character. So I wish we got more time to actually build upon the backstories of these characters as well.
I feel like the person who actually got done worse was Andrew Scott because he was in this movie, but not really. Like he didn't really do anything. He was kind of just there. And I was just like, like I don't love that for him. I feel like the issue with the huge ensemble cast is that it is going to be hard to give everyone stuff to do. I feel like in the second one, maybe it was slightly easier because it's like I don't know, maybe they like all knew each other and they were all like invested in like what was happening with Ed Norton's character. Like they all had like very close connections with him and he was like, the main guy. So you got to kind of see everyone's little thing and they also like it was during COVID so they all had to like shoot isolated like they all had to like self-isolate and be on that island together so maybe there was more opportunity to like do stuff. I don't know. The first one is different because it's like they're all family. So it's like, yeah, we can say, okay, we don't know that much about, Michael Shannon's wife, but like, I mean, if your family comes over for Thanksgiving dinner, like you're probably not going to know everyone or their spouses or whatever. Like it's not that big of a deal. You focus on the main players.
Yeah,
But I think for this one, it's like, okay, well, they all go to the same church. And it's like, okay, well, sure. But like, I feel like tying it together where everyone gets to have like a nice piece of the pie and we get to really dig in deep. Maybe it's hard to string those things together because they're not really that involved with each other's lives. Like they go to prayer meeting and then they go to church together and like that's kind of it. Ryan Johnson chooses like structural issues to really like tap into and there is comedy in that, but obviously there's a lot of danger in that too because you can see how and they even mentioned in the film like someone like Josh Brolin like his how he can lead a whole bunch of people into doing really terrible things or just to like gratify himself and get wealthy like
hmm
even without the diamond like if he wanted to just go online
he
like
could
Sai
pivot.
was saying he could
Yeah,
and that's what's so terrifying is that like everything that they were saying is very true and it's happening right now and it's interesting how close to reality these movies can get especially because they didn't film in Trump's second term,
Hmm.
but they filmed right around the election point. So it was like all of the stuff was coming up anyways. And I thought that it was interesting how they incorporated it into the script.
His stuff like with Knives Out is inspired by Bram Stoker's Dracula, like a lot of other writers, a lot of other icons in literary and cinema. So I think it would be cool for him to hand the reins off, not in perpetuity, like he could still be executive producer, but like have somebody else like write, okay, cool, we're gonna do Knives Out, just multiple miniseries, almost eight episode miniseries is a mystery. Like every season, 8 episodes, that's one mystery. Like, all right, cool, these two writers can write this series, or somebody else wants to take the reins and direct, we can, and it also allows you to like everybody. I like with Ryan Johnson now, the idea of saying, "Oh, I was in a Knives Out project" is kind of attractive. Like be listed who was in this project. Like
Hmm.
somebody you say, "Oh, you want to be in Knives Out?" They're gonna say, "Sure." Like you can get a rotating list of big name actors coming through. Also, you get a chance to shine a light on up and coming actors as well. So I do
Hmm.
think you're right. It'd probably be sort better as like a mini series anthology kind of thing. Did you like that clip? Well, you can listen to the entire podcast because the 16 millimeter Film Crew podcast is available on all major podcast platforms.